2021 was a year filled with success for City, yet somehow you get the sense that 2022 could be even better.
Come here, win is a massive achievement for us.
And Happy New Year. That's what champions do. They're away from home, but you grind out results, and that's why you're the best.
Laporte! De Bruyne! Pick that one out! Bernardo Silva, you little beauty!
City keep on going, 11 wins on the spin, and pulling clear at the top of the Premier League. It is one of a handful of games which will determine our champions.
A massive win for City!
City are screaming to everybody that they're in the mix, and they will be till the end of the season.
Good morning, wherever you are around the world. A very big welcome to Matchday Live. There is the genius himself arriving at the Etihad for our absolutely huge game against Chelsea today. It's actually our 50th Premier League meeting between City and Chelsea. Now, City won just 3 of their first 25 games against Chelsea in the Premier League. But since then, we've gone on to win 12 of the last 24, drawing 3 and losing 9 of them. Now, Chelsea won this exact fixture 2-1 last season, last winning consecutive away league games against us during a run of 4 between 05 and 08. But we know it's a lot different now. So following our 1-0 win at Stamford Bridge earlier this season, we are looking to secure our Premier League double over Chelsea for the 4th time. Come on, Blues. Welcome to Matchday Live. I'm Natalie Pike, and for a big game, you have to get out the big guns, and we have done that today. Joining me in the studio is David James and Shaun Gota. I am sadly not the tallest in the studio this week after having Shaun Wright and Paul Dickov last week. I am definitely the shortest today. Now, we've also got RLs. She is around and about the stadium, giving you a feel of what it's like on a match day here. We've been working her since early this morning, you know, bless her. She's been over at the kids fan zone. She's been in the shop. She's been everywhere. So we're going to be seeing Els a little bit later on. Now, we've got an absolutely jam-packed show for you today. So stick with us for the next hour. Coming up, we have the gents are going to be giving us their thoughts on the FIFA Pro nominations, and they've both picked their FIFA Pro 11. Also, last week, I had the pleasure of speaking to Shaun Wright-Phillips about his combined City and Chelsea 11. Also, we'll be speaking to the Premier League's best penalty saver about City's best penalty takers. And of course, it is Cryptic City. Pre-warning all of you Cryptic City lovers, I have been told it is pretty much the hardest one we have ever done. I've not seen it yet. We're all going to fail miserably, but I cannot wait to see that. Now, as you know by now, this is the first place to get your team news, and we have that for you now. So immediately I can tell you there are 6 changes from the team that beat Swindon in the FA Cup and 4 from the team that beat Arsenal. Starting in goal is Edison. And then you have a defence of Walker, Stones, Laporte and Cancelo. Then moving up into midfield, it's Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, who is captain today, Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish, Sterling and Phil Foden. That is our starting 11 for today. Having a look at the all-important subs bench as well, you can see Stefan, Diaz is on the bench, Gundogan, Jesus, Fernandinho, and then we welcome back some of the youth players, then Bete, McAtee, Lavia and Wilson Esbrand. So that is your subs bench for today. Big news, 6 changes from the team that beat Swindon, 4 from the team that beat Arsenal. So what do you all make of that team today? Do get in touch, do let us know. And I'm going to get the thoughts now, of course, of my guests today. Gents, welcome. First of all, so pleased to have you both today. I've been really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a fun show with the both of you. And I know you guys have spent some time together yesterday, which we're going to get into a little bit later as well. I can't wait for you all to see this. David, first of all, instant impressions to that team today.
Well, good morning first, or good day, wherever you may be watching. What's interesting is there's a couple of changes from the side that beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Of course, there's a lot of changes, as you say, from Swindon and the previous match, but The fact that he's kind of gone pretty much with that side, which I still think is the best performance I've seen City this season. I think he trusts that team to go and do it again.
It was such a dominant performance.
Oh, it was amazing.
Oh, I was so nervous going into that game, and we were just brilliant. Shaun, in terms of the team, if we're starting at the back, looking at the defence there, we've got Diaz dropping to the bench. Now, we've got no idea. Obviously, we don't know what's been going on in the week in terms of medical histories, anything that might have been going injury-wise. But in terms of Walker, Laporte, Cancelo, Stones comes back in. We've not seen him for a little while. What are you making of the back four?
Well, I think it's still a really good defensive line. I think, again, the players have performed really well. Stones has not been in for a couple of weeks, but again, it's not often you see these players be out for a couple of weeks and come in and perform admirably. And I would anticipate that amongst, all the players. But again, every time we sit here and we think, well, trying to figure things out, I'm looking at the front three and I'm thinking, well, who plays as a 9? We've got Grealish. I think Grealish will be on that left side. Sterling, I think Sterling will end up being on the right and Foden down the middle. I always seem to get it wrong. We can never figure Pep out. Well, he is just a genius in what he does.
It is my favourite thing that we do. As soon as the team comes out, I'm like, oh, he's going to be on the, oh no, he's going to be on the left. Oh no, he's going to be on the right. For me, David, I'm looking at that, hoping that Raheem Sterling's going to be playing on the right. I think that's my favourite position of his. How about you?
Absolutely. I mean, he's once again having a fantastic season. He's in tremendous form, and yeah, I mean, when these players are in, and this is what we do all the time. When these players are in form, it doesn't matter really where they play, does it? They can rotate. Just interesting. I'm going with you. I think Foden, and I go back to that Chelsea game. Foden in the middle, close to Kevin De Bruyne, and the two of them, they just looked in so much harmony. They caused Chelsea all sorts of problems. And when they're doing that in the middle, then it allows Sterling, allows Grealish on the wide to just add to the aggravation.
Shout out to Raheem as well, Shaun, because he picked up the Premier League Player of the Month for December, so that'll be an extra confidence boost for him.
Absolutely brilliant. I mean, yeah, James is talking about his form that is in, which is brilliant. And again, we anticipate him, having a go. We're thinking he'll be on that right side. But Grealish is an interesting one because we know that Grealish, he attracts sort of 2 and 3 defenders when he receives the ball. So Azpilicueta being on that side will be obviously be trying to get real tight. But because of how Grealish plays, that will draw defensive midfielders across. And I would imagine that part of the plan is to draw them across to one side to then allow Sterling with that space on the other side to have that one-on-one and perhaps expose on the other side. That's my thinking. I'm never close to what Pep does, so we'll wait and see.
None of us are, Shaun. Thank goodness we have him. In terms of Jack Grealish, David, we...
Sorry, no, I'll cut short there, because you've just seen this Raheem Sterling goal, and I remember the game and everyone thinking, Aguero's going to score. And Sterling stole in and scored the goal. Anyway, sorry, forgive me.
No, always. You are always welcome. People would rather hear from you than me, so always feel free to jump in. I feel like for Jack Grealish, these are the games that he came for, Premier League champion versus European champions, although that still pains me always.
Of course.
I think he's had a good start to his City career. We're still waiting, and we will very soon see the Jack Grealish that we all know that he can be. And it feels like, for me, a game like this is a game where he could sparkle. What's
interesting about Jack, and I'm liking the fact that City are so far ahead with Jack in the squad, because Jack came in. I think everybody, Man City and across the football world, was thinking, well, Jack's going to have to do something more than he was doing Aston Villa to make City better. But he's been used sparingly. He hasn't been used in every game, obviously, but then no one has. And when Shaun's talking about John Stones, what the beauty of City at the moment is that when players do come in, Phil Foden, one of my favourite players of all time for Man City.
One of mine as well.
Yeah, but
he's only 21!
We want him on the pitch every minute of the game. But Pep doesn't use him all the time, and he doesn't have to, and he's still getting the success. So Jack Grealish falls into that. It's kind of, when you're on, you're going to do your stuff. We don't need you to be the player that wins us the game, although he has the ability. Today is the day where he can show himself, and we hope he does, shows that £100 million transfer fee. It's not even about the money. It's just about him being a better player than he was when he was at Aston Villa, because he's definitely in a better team.
I just want to go back to your comment about Phil Foden. Obviously, at 21 years old, playing consistently, what we're going to say in the team, 2-3 seasons, and he's already one of your favourite City players ever. The both of you just wow. I mean, hopefully we've got another 10 or 15 years of this man, Shaun.
Yes, I mean, Phil Foden, you can't speak highly enough about him and his intelligence, his ability to receive balls in tight areas. And what I like about him, he affects the game. When we get into the final third, whether it's a dribble to a factor player, to commit a play and slip another, to shift the ball for himself, to have a shot, or if it's just being as a wide player and getting in on the far post, this is what he does. This is the great thing about him. We're looking here and seeing this is De Bruyne's finisher following in. But City again, I think will look to sort of do these sort of things and really press and push on against Chelsea.
Raheem Sterling, I've got this lovely stat about him. He's scored 3 goals in his last 3 starts against Chelsea in the league. We're getting stats for Raheem about like that for a lot of teams at the minute.
Yeah.
But you know, he really is going to fancy it today.
Yeah, and again, I go back to the point, and this is what's wonderful about City at the moment, because the starting lineups change week to week, sometimes more so than others, that everybody's sort of complementing each other. So Raheem comes in, he can be confident, and maybe this is what we can only guess again with Pep. He looks at the changing room or the training ground and goes, I can see confidence in those players, and therefore he makes those changes. But Raheem's going to be up for it. Jack, that team and that squad, I'm looking at Stefan on the bench saying, if I'm called, I'm ready.
Yes.
And that's the thing, that squad just looks so good.
Lovely. Thank you so much. That's our thoughts of David James and Shaun Goater. RL's is down pitch side, and she's also got another City legend with her. She's been getting the thoughts of Andy Morrison.
Hello, we are pitch side. The atmosphere is revving up. I've got Andy Morrison with me. We've just seen the starting 11. What are your thoughts ahead of seeing that lineup?
Well, the first thing that stands out was obviously Diaz on the bench, who's been the mainstay of the back four for a long period of time now. So not sure what the reasons are behind that, but obviously John Stones coming in is an equal replacement.
Is there anyone you're looking out for today? Any key players that you think are going to shape up in this match? Because it's quite an important match. So
I think every player has to turn up today against Chelsea. Every player has to put in a performance like they did down at Stamford Bridge, because they were magnificent. And I feel as though there'll be periods in the game where we'll be under pressure for sure, but we'll manage that. And I'm really confident because of the run of form we're on and the way we're playing. And this place is, like you say, it's going to be jumping.
And we've got 2 of the best managers in the league with Pep and Tuchel today. Tuchel's gone into Chelsea and really made an impact. How do you think they're going to turn up and show up today?
Well, I think after the performance at Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea didn't have a shot on target, I mean, that's going to hurt the manager because, don't kid yourself, they've all got egos and they all want to get one over on each other. And obviously Tuchel had the Champions League final, and then kind of Pep responded with that performance, which was breathtaking on the day. And but I think Tuchel will be turning up today with the intent of saying, listen, I'm on a level playing field with you, and I want to show what a good manager I am.
Definitely. Well, it is shaping up to be a very important match for Chelsea and also City. Let's see how it shapes up. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Els. That was Els with the thoughts of Andy Morrison. Andy is on co-commentary today alongside the wonderful Alistair Mann. You can get full commentary of the game on the City app. The best place, the only place you want to be listening to anybody talking about Manchester City today for the game. That is the go-to place. Andy Morrison and Alistair Mann on commentary. I love Andy's point there, Shaun. I'd forgotten that Chelsea had no shots on target in that game at the Bridge. We're going to be getting their team news very soon, but they're going to want to rectify that.
Yeah, well, whoever's up front, they'll be thinking, these are the games that the big players, both teams have big players, and they'll be wanting to show up. And they don't want to be going into this game thinking, we've had 2 games back-to-back and not had a shot on target or not worked the keeper. When I played, if I ran a game or 2 without sort of having shots, then I'm thinking, my main focus is to have shots on target. So I think whoever plays up front for them, this is what that will be their aim. We need to be working Addison, who's in goal.
Thank you. So if you would like to ask our guests any questions today, you know that you can do that on using our WhatsApp number. It's on your screen now. Ask them about today's games. Ask them about what they think is going to happen. Ask them about their careers. Whatever you like, this is your chance. So send in your questions via WhatsApp and I will do my best to ask as many as possible. Right. Are you all ready? I've been told this is the toughest cryptic city of the season. You know by now. Have a look at the pictures, say what you see, put them together and come up with the name of a former or current Manchester City player. So here is today's Cryptic City. Gents, I am a bit worried today because by Daryl's standards, he says this is hard. Right, I've not seen this before. Instantly, I'm going to tell you, that's Lucifer. That is the programme Lucifer. I've seen that on Netflix. Right. Are you seeing anything else there, gents, immediately?
Yeah. We got Mo on the end.
From The Simpsons. Nice. Tomo. That's a toe, isn't it?
Is that
Tomo?
Yeah. Metropolitan. Met.
I got it.
Right.
Daryl, good lord, you said this was the hardest one ever and I've just got it.
We recruited you in for this.
Yeah.
You're the intellect of footballers.
Yeah,
What's happening, baby?
I'm not allowed to say, but of course I've nearly got it.
Have you got it, David?
I've nearly got it, yeah.
Sean, how are you doing?
I think I may have a clue. That's not good if I've got a clue. Eh?
Sean, you're not that bad at it. Oh,
no,
sometimes.
I think I do know who that is.
Okay. David, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know who it is? You can send us in your guesses using the hashtag #ManCity. We love it when you send your guesses in and you try and explain what the pictures are as well, because at the minute I think I know who it is, but I don't know what one of the pictures is. So try and explain how you got to your guess. Okay, we now have the team news for Chelsea today. Let's take a look at their starting 11. Now in goal it is Kepa, of course Mendy is off to AFCON, and then it is Rudiger, Silva, Sarr and Azpilicueta is the captain today. Kante, Kovacic, Alonso, Ziyech, Lukaku and Pulisic. So that is the Chelsea starting 11 today. Now the subs are Bettinelli, Jorginho, Loftus-Cheek, Saul, Barkley, Hudson-Odoi, Mount, Havertz and Werner. That is a strong bench, by the way. That is a really strong bench. Right. We're going to get the thoughts now, of course, of David James and Shaun Goater. David, initially I'd like to talk to you about the goalkeeping situation. Mendy has been one of the best goalkeepers in the world this season. He's not playing because he's gone off to the African Cup of Nations, and so Kepa is in. What's your instant sort of reaction to that?
I'm a big fan of Kepa. I think he was unjustly criticised a couple of seasons ago, and he's a good goalkeeper, very good goalkeeper. I'm not going to say he's as good as Mendy. Mendy, as you said, has had a fantastic season, but I think he's more than capable of doing okay. Of course, goalkeepers have off days, and today would be a nice one for him to have one. But I don't think they've got a big problem in that goalkeeping department.
I just want everyone to know that I'm giving up on fantasy football this season, David,
so
because I brought Mason Mount in and he's on the bench there, which is great for us, I think, bad for my team. Shaun, I'd like to talk to you about the up-front situation at Chelsea. Now, Lukaku starts today. He's had public things going on lately. He came again with big fanfare, lot of expectation, only scored 5 goals in the Premier League so far, but he still is such an unbelievably talented player. We're going to need to be careful.
Yes, the one thing is you got to be careful against Lukaku. Again, he came, he scored a few goals, and then he went a bit off the boil. There's a bit of that, off the field sort of noise. I think from Chelsea's point of view, they're probably saying, listen, that's been put to bed. He's played the next game. He'll be now looking to be scoring in a game like this and be sort of thumping his chest and saying, I'm the man. So he's one that we really have to watch. Looking at, Pulisic as a player, I'm amazed in why he's not been involved as much, because was it last season he was really exciting as a player, but that's the strength of what they have. He's a sort of dynamic player. Ziyech is a player that a bit like Mahrez, can move that ball, shift that ball at half a yard to put in quality. So we've got to watch them carefully. I'm surprised with Mount not being in there because he's really dynamic, dribbling, shooting. But I think that could be a plan B. Because in these games, you can't just go all out. You've got to have a plan B, and I think that'll be Chelsea's plan B.
At least I'll get some sub-points then, David, but I'm still not happy.
We're sat here excited about this game, and for the right reasons. Chelsea are a very, very good football team. They're European champions, and if they weren't, then we wouldn't be excited. And an opportunity for City to get a double over the European champions and basically seal up the league as far as Chelsea are concerned. Obviously, Liverpool are still within that shout quietly. But yeah, I mean, the bench is strong. It's interesting when you say it, Shaun, because there are so many good players on that bench, he can't use them all. So the plan B might be, where do I need to help? Maybe it's sort of shoring up the defence. Maybe it's, again, with the likes of Mount in attack. But Chelsea are good. Very good team. Man City have to be better. That's why we love football.
Talking about shoring up the defence, Chelsea started the season with 7 clean sheets in their first 10 Premier League games. Since then, they've had just 2 in the last 11. What do you feel's kind of happened to them defensively?
Yeah, not all those goals have necessarily been down to bad defence. I'm just thinking in the back of my mind when there was an own goal from James against Mendy. Mendy, as you say, was having a fantastic season. But I love managers and the way they talk before games, during press conferences and stuff. And Thomas Tuchel was in a spot of bother a few weeks ago. You could tell by the way he was talking. Pep, and I've said this on the show before, when you see Pep, if he's looking around everywhere, then he's agitated. When he's focused, you know the team's going to play well. So defensively, they were conceding. They weren't scoring. Obviously, that stuff with Lukaku as well was adding to the mix. But as Shaun said, they've kind of come out of that. And after the sort of second half performance against Liverpool, to score those, to get back into the game, get the point against Liverpool, they've sort of turned the corner, I think, which makes this game even more spicy.
Yeah, because in the league, they've drawn 4 out of the last 5, Shaun. But obviously, as David said, they've had those wins to get them through to the final of the Carabao Cup. They obviously beat Tottenham twice. But 4 draws in the last 5 Premier League games is going to be bringing up some questions for them.
Yeah, I think that's, from their point of view, that's where they'll be disappointed. That I think we've actually drawn 2 games where they've drawn 7. And so those draws is where they've let themselves down. So this shows that there's cracks, or there was a period where they were conceding goals and teams were getting draws. So they'll be looking at that. But today they have to come out. They have to come out because they don't want this gap to get any bigger. If anything, they want to close it. Or that from them, worst case scenario is a draw where they dominate and look back and think we should have won the game, because they can go home and say we performed really well. We should have won the game, but we didn't. We got a draw. That's their worst case scenario. Chelsea be looking for.
In terms of a draw, David, do you think that either team would be happy with that now?
No, absolutely not. I mean, for City, they could say, right, we're not happy, but the gap hasn't got any smaller. For Chelsea, it's all about winning, because you've got to try and work out what opportunities there are for City to drop points and shrink that gap. And the best opportunity is when you're playing them. So Chelsea aren't here for a draw.
For me, before the season started, I was thinking, or certainly in the start of the season, I was like, Chelsea are the main rivals, because what I saw them producing, I was like, they are the ones. And now that we are where we are, I would like to close that door and say, this season's shut for you. So I will be in this game and wanting to say, we win this game. 1-0, 5-0, we just win. And we shut Chelsea out of this.
So you think if we beat Chelsea today, they are out of the title race?
I think so.
Chelsea, they're 13 points behind them.
Just makes me so nervous.
There's no opportunity for you to influence the gap. That's the key thing. People talk about 6-pointers. It's actually a 12-pointer when you think about it, because you play them twice. So City win both games. That's 12 points difference between the 2 rivals.
And psychologically, what does it do in terms of Liverpool as well if we beat Chelsea today? Because obviously they're going to be hoping that we're going to drop points as well.
For Liverpool, I don't think they're worried, because they can't influence anything that happens today. They just hope because Man City still have to drop points to other teams anyway. It would be nice, but they'll say we've still got an opportunity to play them again. We've still got an opportunity to influence that gap. But they would still like Chelsea to do that. Yeah. But genuinely, I don't think they've got a game against Brentford tomorrow. They'll be focusing on that and just... I
don't know. I reckon they'll take a draw. They'll think, well, you know what? Both of these teams dropping 2 points, from their point of view, will think, yeah, okay, we've closed them. We can close the gap on City. We can close the gap on. I think it'd be interesting in what some Liverpool fans think. But I would have thought, you know what? I would take both teams, or City losing as the majority, because they're the ones that are chasing.
Sorry, I think a 2-horse race is better than a 3-horse race. And if Chelsea get a point, then Chelsea will be confident going into the rest of their games. They've still got to play Liverpool. I mean, it's a mix, and that's what we love about a long season. So, just City win, then we don't have to worry about what Liverpool think.
Oh, I didn't mean to start talking about that. It kind of gets me like nervous / like really, really excited. Like, oh gosh. Right, looking back, I'm going to try and calm down, take a breath. Looking back at the Chelsea team, I don't want to think back to that Champions League final, but in that game, obviously, Kante was absolutely incredible and dominated that game. Playing alongside him in midfield is Kovacic, who for me has been one of Chelsea's, if not his best player of the season. So the two of them together in that midfield could be quite dominant. Yeah,
my nickname for Kante is spell check, because whenever Chelsea make a mistake, he corrects it. So, but he hasn't. I mean, interestingly, he hasn't been on the top form since, because he was out for a little while, wasn't he? So when he come back, he hasn't been on top form. Again, as you say, Chelsea haven't been winning league games with Kante in the side, so there's still maybe improvement that's needed for him, and maybe that will happen next week. We'll see. But Kovacic, as you say, he scored the Karate Kid-esque volley, which was something amazing. And again, I don't feel less confident about Man City's chances when I say good things about Chelsea, because they are such a good side. And these players, I mean, Sarr, who's come into the team, he's another great player. And if he's up against Raheem Sterling today at any point, it's going to be interesting, because he's strong, he's quick. City can have to be at their best, which is what we want to see.
It's absolutely fine to recognise a good team, and just also to recognise
you have to appreciate that they're good.
That we are as good, if not better, as well. So
10 points clear would suggest that they're better.
Yes. Now, a man that knows all about Chelsea players. He played for them. He played for us. It is the incredible Shaun Wright-Phillips. And last week I sat down with him to get his best ever combined City and Chelsea 11. Right, Shaun, you need to immediately talk us through the formation, because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, what's your issue with wide players?
I don't necessarily have an issue with wide players. I just think with the two fullbacks I got, they do both jobs anyway. Coley was always known, and I know that for a fact because I had to chase him a lot of the time. So he was known for obviously getting up there, putting in crosses, getting himself in awkward positions for wingers to defend against. And as we know to this day today, Walker is pretty much similar, but a lot quicker. So I didn't necessarily feel like I needed wingers. So that's the reason why I went with the diamond shape in the middle.
Oh, very, very, I like it. Very, very unusual, very technical. I like it. So looking at the defence there, you mentioned Walker and Cole. You've gone for Vincent Kompany and John Terry. Wow. Could be the greatest centre-back pairing ever. The leadership between the two of them is insane.
Yeah, that's kind of why I went for it as well. And I know my midfield is a bit attacking, so I needed that quality in there to pull the midfield back and help out. But yeah, I think those two together would have been an awesome pair.
If you had to pick just one of them as a leader, which one would you go for?
I think I'd go for Kompany.
I like it. Right, so looking at your midfield then, Yaya, Lams, Kevin De Bruyne and David Silva. Oh my goodness, that is an insane midfield lineup. Why did you pick these and not others?
I honestly don't know why I didn't pick others, so I can't really answer that one. I just went off, I think in a way, the style I wanted them to play and the style of football I know they can play. The only part I was a little bit worried about is I've seen all of them defending, so it may leave me a bit open, but I'm hoping we score more goals than we concede. So I've kind of come with an old school Kevin Keegan, let's go for it sort of thing. But yeah, Yaya Toure, holding midfielder, because when he first came, at City, I thought he did a fantastic job there. And although we found it hard to get back, I don't want him to go forward. So he's fine there because I know he can dictate from there. And the rest of them will just rotate, like KDB, Lamps and Silva. We all know what they're capable of. There's goals, there's assists. And that's kind of why I went with those guys.
There's going to be some world-class goals in this team as well. This team would just wow you constantly. And especially when you start to look forward to your two attackers as well. Didier Drogba and Sergio Aguero, that's just got goals written all over it.
Yes, but I picked it mainly because as well, if things ain't going too well, those two can make a goal out of nothing. Like when you think they ain't going to score, they'll most probably end up scoring. And as much as they're scored, what they bring to a team, to have both of them in my team, there's always a chance I'm going to win.
Yes, you're going to absolutely, outscore everybody. It don't matter. It's going to be incredible. Though I feel like there might be an argument brewing on who's going to take a penalty. Who would you assign that to?
Drogba.
Really?
Yeah. It would either Drogba and then Lamps.
Oh wow. Okay, brilliant. I love it. Thank you very much. So that is Shaun Wright-Phillips' combined City and Chelsea 11. What a team. I feel like I just need to let you all know that I do have more than one outfit. It's just a coincidence I was wearing this last week as well, but it is a lovely jumper. Thank you. So yeah, big shout out to Shaun Wright-Phillips there. As that was happening, we were getting some oohs from our guest. David, you immediately oohed at the goalkeeper. You wouldn't have had Edison?
Shaun was my teammate.
Oh, right.
Wow. I thought there was like this unwritten rule that you put your teammates in first and then people question you. No, come on. I love Edison anyway.
I didn't even realise.
David has a point. David has a point. I can't believe it. Hey, he's not going for Dave as well. Yeah. So put 2 goalkeepers.
He could put me on the bench or something. Yeah, but let's be fair. Edison, one of my favourite goalkeepers. So Shaun got that one right. It's good.
And in terms of his 2 forwards, they're Drogba and Aguero, Shaun.
Wow. Listen, nothing to say. We know what Aguero does. He just scores and banks goals from all angles, close range, outside the box, screamers. Drogba, a leader, legend, as they say at Chelsea. I mean, I've seen him carry their team, sometimes cross the line, and you just think they need a goal, and Drogba pops up. The power of him, the intelligence. In terms of playing against those two, I would not want to play against those two. Goals.
Yes, we love it.
Thanks,
so, another team that is being announced this week is the free FIFA Pro 11. And we have 2 of our players that are nominated, Kevin De Bruyne and Ruben Diaz. Now, we asked both of our guests in the week to create their FIFA Pro teams, and we're going to have a little look at them now. So we're going to look at David James's first. So, David, give us a little talk through, starting with your goalkeeper, obviously, as to why you picked who you picked.
Well, first of all, the selection options kind of made it difficult to put in a fully coherent side, especially with the ones that I like. Donnarumma, fantastic, 22 years old, European champion. He'd been around for ages, for years. I mean, he started at 17. I just think he's a monster. He's a monster of a figure, monster of a player. Should go in. Trent.
Sorry, does he hurt you as an Englishman to do that, by the way, after obviously his success over England?
No. You want the beauty of football. I mean, this is a magnificent save. The beauty of football is when the best players play their best, there's no argument. And in the European Championship, he was the best goalkeeper. He stopped England, 2 penalty saves, the big saves in the game. When you're doing that, you deserve the title of the best. If he played badly and Italy won, then he'd be like, hang on a minute, I need to find another goalie. But he stepped up.
Right, so who else did you have there? So your defence.
Trent, I think, assists. He's had it a bit like Donnarumma. He came in young and he's found his form again. Diaz, I mean, do I need to say any more? This guy, he's on the bench today. I'm sure he's going to come on and score if he needs to, but he's just been the solid rock to be in anybody's team. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just. Yeah.
No, absolutely. He's a defender, but much like Cancelo, the amount of assists he provides is incredible.
Absolutely. I mean, this whole City side, I think, with the likes of Diaz, it's just immense. I mean, if I was in goal and I had him in front of me, I'd be thinking, what clean sheet records can we break here? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like it's going to happen, and I'm sure Edison, as Shaun said, in his best team.
And then you've got our Diaz, of course. Was that a given for you?
Sorry?
Diaz in the team. Was that just a definite for you?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Because, as I say, he's a rock.
Oh, yeah. He is.
Are you expecting him to get into the when it's announced next week?
I'm expecting this team to be there.
Of course.
Wait, how could there be any other team? I mean, look at that formation, 3-1-3-3.
It'd be interesting to see how many get in the team of yours than that get in from my team as well.
I'm looking forward to seeing how different they are.
Yeah, but you're right about Donnarumma, the goalkeeper. He was exceptional in the Euros and everything. He was absolutely brilliant.
And I put KDB in there, obviously, because when you look at that front line, someone's got to give them the ball.
Yeah.
And who better than the best passer in football?
So who did you have in your front line? Talk us about your 3.
Lewandowski, of course, because he is just ridiculous. The amount of goals he's been scoring, should have been the Ballon d'Or this year. Mbappe, who pace, he can score goals, of course. Haaland, who's the one.
The one what?
The one, right? So he's like buses.
Like the Matrix.
Yeah. For any international viewers out here, there's an old saying about buses. You're waiting for one, then all of a sudden loads come along. Haaland scores multiple goals more often than he scores single goals, and I think a fantastic season. It's a great finish by Jude Bellingham there. But as he does there, he assists. He can score goals, and when he gets the manager that can get him to score regularly rather than loads in spells, he will be a Ballon d'Or winner.
Oh, now
I wonder what manager could do that.
I can't. Oh, yeah. If I was going to push you to say Mbappe or Haaland, who's the best young striker in the world right now?
If 12 months ago I'd have said Mbappe, but Haaland for me, I think there's more growing room. Considering they're as good, and Mbappe's very similar as well. He'll score a couple of goals in a game rather than 2 goals in 2 games, if that makes sense.
And I'm saying nothing else, by the way, because sometimes I say things and people think I'm in the know. I'm not in the know in the absolute slightest. And I'll get messages like saying Natalie hinted. No, I didn't. Natalie knows nothing. I'm saying nothing. Right, let's have a look at Shaun's team now. This is Shaun's best FIFA Pro 11. Love that picture of you, by the way, Shaun. That was a great shirt.
There you go. Yes. Well, listen, I've gone for Mendy because, he's came and done what he's expected to do as a goalkeeper. David may have a different viewpoint in terms of the goalkeeper, but he came and done what he's supposed to do. He made them a lot more solid as a goalkeeper, a lot more difficult to beat. Won the Champions League with him. He was a part of that team being solid. Trent Alexander, I just think, is a great passer of the ball. We know that perhaps his frailties are defensively, but in terms of the way my team will play, the way my team will play,
okay,
we'll look at his supply line as a fullback. Diaz, I don't need to say anything. He should be in that team. He's a leader. He's aggressive in his game, positional wise.
Now, what's sticking out for me, Shaun? You both had Mbappe and Haaland, but you've gone Messi instead of Lewandowski. Why is that?
Well, see, I think people think of Messi now to be scoring goals, but for me, Messi is still one of the great passers, and he could find a split pass, he could split a defense, this sort of thing, run at teams, set. Well, this is him scoring. So he could still do that if he's up and around the box, but if he's also slightly deeper, there's still no better passer that can find through passes and put players through than Messi. So I wouldn't be looking for Messi to be doing what he does here. I'd actually be looking for him to be finding Mbappe, finding Haaland, finding these players, and also doing a bit of that. So he's just a quality player, and that's why I would have him in the team with those two.
I can't wait to see the actual team now. We'll have to have a little compare. Even if it's just between us, I'll message you and see whose team do you think is going to be closest to the one. Are you going to both say your own?
Oh, yeah. I back my team. That's a bit of doubt there. Is there some doubt going on there?
There's a doubt that you even asked the question. Wow.
I forget how competitive you all are. You had Kante in your team as well, I noticed, Shaun.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're hoping that his form is not in today's game.
No. But we don't want him to have a great game at all. But this guy is just he's a brilliant player when he plays defensive midfield. And he's even showing qualities of being sort of a number 8, getting box to box and then also helping out defensively. And N'Golo Kante, and what I love about him is he's just a humble guy. You could see it, He's just a humble guy, goes on, plays. He's won everything. You don't win everything without having some real quality. He's a quality player.
So the FIFA Pro 11 will be announced next week. Good luck to Ruben Diaz and to Kevin De Bruyne. We also have Lucy Bronze nominated in the women's section. Lucy is, of course, the current FIFA Pro best player in the world. Now, Manchester City women are playing today. They are down at Villa. There has been a pitch inspection down there. The game is on, but it is slightly delayed. So it was supposed to kick off at the same time as we are at 12:30, but it's now going to kick off at 1 o'clock. We will give you any updates for that. We'll let you know at halftime as well how they're getting on. There's another game happening today for City as well. It is a Super Saturday. Our under-18s are currently taking on Liverpool. It is halftime and it is 0-0. Now, earlier in the week, we spoke to two fans, Ollie from City and Andrew from Chelsea, who gave us their memories of this game.
I think from a City's perspective, there's been a few classics over the years. I think the one that might sting Chelsea the most would be 1-0 at the Etihad, I think 2005 or 2004. Nicholas Anelka penalty, which was Chelsea's only defeat that season. So there was no gold Premier League trophy for Chelsea. The favourite, I think, for me, is one of those games where you look back on it at the end of the season and you say, that was the one, that was the turning point this season that said, yeah, you know, these are the real deal. And that was the 1-0 win at Stamford Bridge in the Centurions season. So that was 2017, September, I think it was. Chelsea were champions. City had just come after the first season under Pep, which was a little bit shaky by Pep standards. This was kind of the one that all the media was watching to say, a City worth their salt this season. I think when KDB scored 20 yards or so out, that was the one where we're like, yeah, you know, this team is the real deal. But I think nobody expected us to go on and get 100 points after that. But that certainly in recent years is the best fixture I can remember and probably the most important.
I would just add on that one, that's actually probably one of my worst moments as a Chelsea fan over the past couple of years. I think I almost think of that fixture as being worse than the 6-0 just because of how we didn't even try to win the match, really. It was almost just City just scored and then we just let it happen for the rest of the match.
We hadn't won the league in 3 years at that point, so it was definitely a big turning point for us.
But I think the one that I ended up sort of settling on was when we won 3-1 at the Etihad en route to the Premier League title in 2016. And I just remember it because we were so outplayed for so much of the match. It was like 60 minutes in, we were 1-0 down. I think it was a Cahill own goal. And it looked like we were just going to get battered, and that was going to be the end of our sort of title charge because we were in the middle of our massive run, but nobody was quite sure if we were really the real deal yet. And then I remember it was a long ball from Fabregas up to Costa, and he just took it down. I think he shrugged off Otamendi or someone like that, and just scored a goal out of absolutely nothing. And then it kicked on from there. I think Willian scored, Hazard scored, and there was a massive brawl at the end. I think there was a couple of red cards for City. And it was just a real sort of smash and grab victory that I think no one really expected us to get. And I think, I think that was probably the for me that was I think the peak of City Chelsea in the Premier League.
A big thank you to Ollie and to Andrew there. How beautiful does that stadium look? It takes your absolute breath away. Chelsea City, 12:30 kick-off around about 22 minutes away now. Now, we couldn't have the Premier League's best ever penalty saver in the studio without talking about penalties. Now, both City and Chelsea have 100% record this season on scoring penalties. Nobody has missed in the Premier League. Now, somebody did miss in the Premier League last year, and we are going to have another look at it. Sergio Aguero, we love you, we adore you. What were you doing here? David, he tried the Panenka, it failed. Can you remember thinking when you saw this?
Again, as I said earlier, this was the Aguero goal that everyone was waiting for, if I remember rightly, and where Raheem Sterling stole one off him. Essentially, this was what was he doing?
And Mendy didn't dive. Do you think he knew? Like, how did he weigh that up?
Well, when you do your homework, you can. There's little idiosyncrasies in players' movements and prep and all that stuff. And I'm just thinking whether he saw something that he didn't recognise and thought, is he going to do something odd? So he half went. What was he doing? Aguero, that was just a slide down the side and goal.
I like that you're talking about the homework there. I find that really interesting. In terms of you've saved the most penalties in the Premier League of any goalkeeper ever. What was your homework and preparation like?
Wow, I do like my hair there.
So man, it's a stare down there. Yeah. Whoa, don't get involved in that stare down.
This was a big moment actually in the game, in the season as it happens, because we weren't going in the right direction. But so pressure penalty for Paul Dickov. There's a thing where under pressure a lot of people cut across themselves, so they'll go from right foot to the left side. Ball placement, nervousness of the penalty taker. and basically saying, yeah, I know where you're going. So,
So as he's walking up, as he's standing waiting to take the penalty, you're weighing up everything about Dickov in that instance, his body language.
Yeah. We didn't have the benefit of video analysis as acute as it is now. I mean, nowadays, you can go on an app, see every penalty taken by the penalty takers.
Juan Pablo Angel.
Oh, I can't remember this one.
Okay,
he was my old
this
teammate.
is Villa versus City.
I can't remember. Oh, yeah. Oh, thanks for showing that.
So, do you have a preference? Do you always dive right?
Well, most right-footed penalty takers go to the goalkeeper's right. It's just one of these things. It's fortunately, I've had so many penalties taken against me, whether it's in matches and training. Again, there's these little cues that you can see when people are lining up. And the Jorginho one, which everyone talks about, I think in time, people, and if you've got good analysis, you'd be able to see what he's going to do, even though he's got the skip. The run-up shouldn't make any difference. It's what he does on the skip, where he puts his foot. There's a lot of stuff going in, and the more you practice, the quicker you're able to respond to it.
We've got another one of your saves here when City played Wolves. So all these saves we're seeing all happen in 2003, in the same season, David.
How many of these did I give away, though?
Right, what are you doing now? Why have you walked out like that?
I can't. I'm so glad I'm seeing these. No.
Are you trying to psych him out by doing that? Are you trying to make him stand a little bit longer?
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. Sorry, I'm enjoying the. Hopefully, everyone at home's enjoying this as well, because that lineup was very straight. So the straighter you are, the more you're going to go. As you can see, the more you're going to go. I mean, it's not a particularly great penalty in the sense of it going wide, but for him to open up and put it the other way would have been very difficult.
This is really interesting.
So fascinating detail for kids at home, as goalkeepers, to be able to just listen and take in some of this great information. But absolutely right. I'm thinking if a right footer, if you're running essentially straight on, the ball is essentially going to go straight or to the goalkeeper's right or to the keeper's left. Yeah,
I have been done. I had a player line straight up. I've done exactly the same thing, and he's just completely opened up and gone the other way. Some people are very good at taking penalties.
And City have had quite a few players that are really good at taking penalties. I want to have a look at this man, Mario Balotelli. Now, he was just one of the greatest penalty takers of all time, Shaun.
Yes, I mean, this takes composure, calmness, and that little stutter that he does is to off-balance the goalkeeper. And you see that the keeper just makes that little shift, and then he's able to place it into the other corner. And this is something you have to practice, something he would have practiced and been very comfortable with, as we may see a little later on. But yeah, Mario Balotelli had that calmness about himself.
Jolie and Lescott said on this show, we were talking about 93-20, and if there'd been a penalty at the end of that game, who would have taken it? And Jolie and Lescott, without hesitation, said Mario Balotelli. There seems to be something in his mentality that he was just extremely kind of calm. Do you think... I don't want this to sound offensive in any way. Do you think he cared? Or was that why he was so good? Because he was just so like, oh, whatever?
I think you have to have a confidence. And I think that's what he had, an inner confidence that if there's a penalty, I'm the one taking it. Because you could see some games, certainly if the lower down you go in games, but any level, those who don't want to take it, they're sort of moving away from the ball. And sometimes it's funny, I see penalties being given, a lad grab the ball and then pass it to someone else. He's basically saying, I don't want it, and then pass it to the person. So it's about confidence, and Mario Balotelli, has that confidence in himself to back himself, say, I want to take this.
We saw Yaya Toure there, Riyad Mahrez, and now Raheem Sterling. That is a phenomenal penalty, David. Would you have saved that one?
I think I may have saved one. No, maybe not. Similar. Let's be right. This is the penalty. This is the penalty. Okay, so just a bit of history for you. This was a 1-0 victory for Man City over Chelsea, the season that Chelsea won the Premier League. We also went to Stamford Bridge, drew 0-0. We were the only team not to concede against Chelsea in their championship season. And had we not scored that penalty, they would have been undefeated in the season.
Love that. He still does his homework now.
Ooh, it's there. It's in the back of my head.
Shaun, I have to ask you though, you were a phenomenal goal scorer for City. Pre-Sergio Aguero, my greatest City goal scorer. You know I adore you. But you never took penalties. What was that about?
I think we didn't get many penalties. Now, in the playoff final, I was the 5th penalty taker. So...
Did you want the glory?
No. There was one of those, who wants penalties? And hands go up. And there's a lot of hands that don't go up. They started looking around. But we know, I mean, we were really struggling in the early year, 98, 99. We were sort of struggling. If we got penalties, it would have been 10 players walking away. I think there's only 1 or 2. Bishop would have stood up for a penalty. I think Dickov was one that would have stood up for a penalty. Include myself, but there wasn't a lot of names that went, I'll go and take a penalty. But we didn't get a lot of penalties.
You do have 100%.
If he said, stay on your feet, don't go down.
You have 100% record though, Shaun. It don't matter that you only took 2 and scored 2. It's 100% record.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah. 100% record penalty taker, best Premier League penalty saver. So, we took the 2 of them yesterday to the CFA and we got them competing against each other. They had the most fun. I cannot wait to see this. We've got a little teaser of you. The GOAT versus David James.
Can you? It's called top corners. Dive where you want.
Balotelli! Sorry about that, son.
I feel good. Yeah.
I feel good.
I feel good. I heard some noise in the background.
Yeah, it's a
I
foul.
heard some noise.
No, we were missing the sound on that for you all. So when it's going to go across the Manchester City socials this week, you need to have a watch of it because obviously one of the big highlights of that is the trash talk between the 2 of them and the banter. Did you have a good day together?
Oh, it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. Trying to emulate some of those great penalty takers because I was looking at videos and trying to copy them. So that was the Balotelli one, but it was great fun.
It was, yeah. And Balotelli, his penalty would have been retaken in today's rules. So you did the
I love it. He's still trying to get his clutch at straws.
But, the referee would have gone to VAR and that would have been retaken and I would have saved it.
He was off his line. Here's that. There's a goal. Get on with it.
You've just got to watch it and then you'll see.
Yeah, they'll enjoy it.
Was he as good as you thought? And was he as good as you each other?
Well, the funny thing was, I knew that David, on his penalties, had always mostly dove to his right. And so if it was for me to make the decision, I would have read to his left. But I had to copy the videos of the people that were taking penalties.
Oh, okay.
But that was me just doing a little bit of research on him. But it was still good. It was still good.
Yeah, the fact that I actually had read Shaun after his first penalty would have meant that I would have known where he was going for those pens, so I'd have saved them all.
Homework, kids. That's what we're learning from this. Do your homework. You can watch that full video this week across City socials. I cannot wait to see it. Thank you so much, gents, for going down and doing that yesterday. Now, as I mentioned, Manchester City women are also playing today. It is an absolute super Saturday for City today. That game at Aston Villa has been delayed, for 30 minutes. So it was supposed to kick off at 12:30. It's now going to be kicking off at 1 o'clock. Our Caroline is down there at Villa Park to give us a little preview of the game.
Hi guys, here at Walsall's Banks Stadium for today's FA Women's Super League game against Aston Villa. It's been a crazy morning. We've had 2 pitch inspections, but the game is going ahead. It's going to be a 1 o'clock kickoff. Big team news, Steph Horton starts her first league game since September. Kiara Keaton makes her league debut. We've also got Bunny Shaw back on the bench, and the only change is Demi Stokes is in for Philippa Angeldal. Really good run of form. We've got a great record against Villa. Let's keep it up, keep that record going and climb that WSL table.
Thank you very much, Caroline. Now, there was some really brilliant news for Manchester City women this week. Our leader, our captain, Steph Horton, signed an extension on her contract. Steph is, of course, been here since the start of the City Women Revolution 8 years ago. So it's absolutely fantastic news. We are all so thrilled that Steph will be staying with us that little bit longer.
Steph, congratulations on your new deal. How does it feel to sign a new contract with City?
Firstly, thank you. Obviously delighted. I think once the talk started, there was always going to be one answer, and for me it was the easiest decision I've ever made. It's just to commit my future to this football club.
A really positive week, obviously back on the pitch as well. One to celebrate.
Yeah, it's been a really good week. Obviously, first and foremost, we got the win. Great start at 2022, and for me personally, it has been a really tough 4 months. Trained a lot over Christmas with a few of the girls just to kind of make sure that once everybody was back in, I was kind of ready to go. And yeah, it was just kind of easing my way back into the side. But it was good to get on, to obviously play 20-25 minutes and be back with the group. And yeah, hopefully a sign of more things to come over the next few weeks.
And how are you feeling?
Yeah, good, excited, of course. I think there's been a lot of outside noise around me personally and this team, and the only way that we can put things right or to kind of silence them is to kind of continue with the form that we potentially are showing, and that starts over the next few weeks. We've got some tough games coming up, but look, we've got some talented players, we're a good team, and for me it's just about showing that I am fit, that I've worked so hard over the last few weeks. I've had unbelievable help from my physio, from Jamie, our S&C coach, and obviously the specialists and our doctor, and I'll be forever grateful for them getting me back on the pitch.
And your 8th year at City, part of the furniture now very much?
God, pretty much, yeah. I think, wow, 8 years, it's actually flown by. I think when people say you've been here 8 years, I actually don't believe them, but ultimately, I think for me, it's always been about being at Manchester City, being a part of this club for now and for the future, and that's why I wanted to commit and to kind of show that I'm a loyal person to my team and to my club and to the people that have helped me along the way.
Yes, Steph, absolutely thrilled. So happy to see her back playing as well. Can't wait to see Steph for the rest of the season and for the extra contract that she signed. It's just brilliant news for Manchester City women. That game today kicks off for them playing Aston Villa at 1 o'clock. It's now 60 minutes gone in our under-18s game against Liverpool on this Super Saturday, and it is still 0-0 as well. So we are around about 7 minutes till kick off. So I'm just going to get the final thoughts now of our guest today. David, give us a kind of nice summary. What sort of game are you expecting today, and what is your score prediction?
Well, first you're going to say Steph, fantastic. That's great news. Today, I'd imagine Chelsea are going to be popping the ball around quickly, but I think that City, Phil Foden, Kevin De Bruyne, those two names are the ones that are going to cause problems today. I just see a replication of what I saw at the Stamford Bridge. Those two combining, making it very difficult for Chelsea's defence to settle. Whether they score or not, it doesn't matter. Someone else will score, but just those two are going to be the most influential players on the match. And score prediction?
Yeah, I'm going to push you for one.
I'm going to go 2-1 City.
2-1 City, I like it. Shaun, what's your kind of thoughts on the game?
I would agree. I'll go 2-1 City. I would agree. I think it's going to be a close one. Interesting, though, Chelsea, when we played them, they seem to keep the ball very close to the box, almost enticing City for the press to then try to expose City with the pace that they have. So it'll be interesting to see whether they play that way again, trying to keep possession just 5-10 yards outside their box, enticing City to press, and then to be able to slide balls down the side. It'll be very interesting, but which is a dangerous game to play against City. But I'm going 2-1 City.
Okay, now our fan Ollie that we had on a little earlier is also going 2-1 to City. I am also going 2-1 to City. Now our Chelsea fan Andrew is going 1-1 1. So he's predicting another draw for Chelsea. You can see the teams are in the tunnels there. Love that jacket so much. And the atmosphere here at the Etihad is really starting to build. Kick-off in 5 minutes. I'm so excited for this. Don't forget, you can keep getting in your questions on WhatsApp and also your guesses for Cryptic City using hashtag Man City. At halftime, I'll try and ask some of those questions. We'll give you Cryptic City again to have another look at. And of course, we'll be here at halftime to talk about all the incidents from the first half. The place now to go is the City app. Manchester City app. Ali Mann and Andy Morrison will be giving you the best commentary around. That is the place to go to get your full commentary for today's game. Thank you very much for joining us in the Matchday Live studio today. We really appreciate your time. Enjoy the game, Blues. Fingers crossed we can make it 13 points clear.